Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable all of the judges, my name is Yurike Indah Saputri. I am from English Education Department, and here I want to present my thesis entitled Representation of Female Characters in the 7th Grade English Textbook. Gender equality has been interesting issues in the education for the last 3 decades. And then gender equality is social movement that depict the woman playing male-dominant occupation in the social roles. And the previous research that has already conducted is from Stariana et al. To 2020 that 10 more characters frequently represented in the textbook 10 female representation. From this previous research, this present study have to conduct in the some topic to demonstrate the gap. This research have to focus in the female characters in the four contexts that is from gender role perspective. The research question in this study have two research questions. The first research question is how is gender equality represented in the textbook? And then the second research question is how is female character represented in the textbook? The literature review. This literature review is about definition of the textbook and gender representation. The definition of the textbook is textbooks are playing a crucial role to steer the ideological and moral of gender. Textbook also called as a curriculum document or curriculum tools to assist student and teacher to identify and enroll what values society control. And the gender representation or gender equality would be measured in a range of roles that represented by men and women. From Rifkin outline in 1998 for the critical evaluation by the verbal and visual text, the representation of male and female followed by 6 criteria. And for textual analysis, the representation of the gender representation, the parameter can measure as a Van Leeuwen theory 2008 in the social practice such as participant, action, performance moods, eligibility condition, presentation style, times, location, and resource, tools, and materials. The representation of female character in this research have four contexts to analyze. The first context is female characters in the family context, and the second is female characters in the occupation, and the third is female characters in the school participant and achievement, and the last is the female characteristic in the hobbies and interests. The previous research that related in this study was conducted by Stariana et al. To 2020 that the findings show the male proportion have in the 62%, while female proportion have in the number 37.2%. The other previous research is from Fahriani et al. 2018 that the findings show the textbook 10 gender inequality, and the other research have conduct from Saputra 2019 that the finding 10 the proportion of the male categorized more dominant than female categorized. And from Atchison 2017, Atchison found that the textbook was less gender representation in American government textbook. Framework of thinking. Gender representation was an interesting issue to investigate. The specific topic from these issues is related with gender bias, gender position, gender roles, or male and female characters in the textbook. The methodology of this research, the research design as critical discourse analysis by model Theo van Leeuwen was used or was conducted by as a research design, and the research subject of this research is the textbook with Untitled When English Rings the Bell. That in this textbook there are 8 chapters. The research instrument the variable is gender representation, with the aspect is the female characters. With the 4 contexts, there are female characters in the family, female characters in occupation, female characters in the school participation and achievement, and the last is female characters in the habits and interests. That each of these contexts will be analyzed by the activities of the female characters in the textbook. The data collecting technique of this research have 3 stages. The first is count the number of gender characters as from Rifkin outline in the 1998. The second technique is describing as a comparing both male and female proportion, and the last is doing critical analysis about social parameter by Theo van Leeuwen. And the data analysis of this research is based on the Theo van Leeuwen. The data analysis in this study follow selecting the textbook which the researchers analyze, and the second is understanding the context of the textbooks, and the third is analyzing both theory used in the research. There are Theo van Leeuwen theory and Rifkin outlines, and the last is making a conclusion. Finding and discussion. The finding and discussion have 2 parts. There are data description and analysis of the text. The data description, as a table as seen in the table 4 in the gender representation in English textbook, there are the frequency of the male in the textbooks are 151 in the percentage 55%, and for the female percentage it is in number 45%, which the frequently as many in the 125. In the table 5, the description of female representation in English textbook. It is the summarizing in the data that will be analyzed in the analysis of the text. That in the unit, in the each of unit or the theme, will be analyzed that related in the context of this research. Analysis of the text. For the first analysis of the text, it is about female characters in the family context. As seen in the figure 2 in the unit 1 in the page 4, it is so that female as a housewife and it is doing domestic chore, traditional domestic chore. And then similarly with the figure 3 in the unit 1 page 7, it is since female as a mother, she is instruct her son to taking a bath and then have her dinner soon. The second context is female characters in the occupation. In the figure 4, unit 1, page 3, it is so a lyric song that with a female pictorial that the teacher, the female as a teacher, and the occupation female in this picture as a teacher. And in the figure 5 in the unit 6 page 128, it is so that a dialogue about teacher, Miss Mutia as a teacher, and her student about their parent occupation. Analysis of the text in the context school participation and achievement. In the figure 6 unit 2 page 28, it is about the female student get her participation in the school. Female characters in the school participation and achievement. In the figure 7, in the unit 5, page 106, it is a dialogue between Edo and Siti that Edo said and asked to Siti how can Siti never let, although her house is far from the school. And the figure at unit 5 in the page 135, it is the female achievement that female always study every single day, different with the boys that they have to finish her studying when they have a homework. And the context in the hobbies and interests, it is about figure 11, unit 5, page 101, that is the interest about the garden. And then figure 12, unit 7, page 152, there are a female interest to shopping or going to the market. And in the figure 9, unit 1, page 3, it is a female interest to lyric song. That song is one of hobbies of this female. And then figure 10, unit 2, page 30, it is about the hobbies of the female about cooking. And the conclusion of this research is the purpose of this study is aimed to investigate the female characters in the textbook, and the result that the author in this textbook is realized about gender representation, but this textbook still have gender inequality, and the other may realize the female character important to depict in the textbook, but we saw in the percentage that male percentage more dominant than female dominant. I think that is overall for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.